number of ways. I think in Ferguson's, the first thing was that they gave you the space and the freedom to experiment. They exposed you to, I think this type of firms that we were dealing with, it was diverse in terms of industry segments. B, the environment, and that is when I say environment, I mean the seniors, would trust you. So there was no hand-holding. At the same time, you knew that you had people with experience who would guide you. So it was a combination of trust and confidence that your seniors had. It was the exposure to various types of clients, whether it was multinational, it was Indian organization, it was entrepreneurs. And I think more importantly were the colleagues or the people that you were working with. These were people who came from different backgrounds. So it was the passion, the energy, the intellect of various people. So I would say it was the clientele, it was the collaboration and the knowledge that you had from your fellow colleagues, the clients that you were working in, and I think an exposure I got an exposure to go to towns and cities which normally you won't expect any consultant. You feel consultant only roam around in these metros. But I've been into the interiors of Punjab, interiors of various villages to do projects, which was sort of, gave you that hard knock and exposure, which frankly till now helps me a lot in every work, every assignment that I do. So that, the grounding was very, very solid. It gave you the feet on the ground. It made you tough to handle various types of clients, various situations. So, of course, now I have grey hair and almost no hair, but at that point of time, you're consulting to people and giving them advice who are much senior, much experienced. They know their industry very well. So how do you build that credibility? Now, one way of building up that credibility or that image was, yes, you wear a suit and a tie, which was, frankly, if you ask me, the most challenging, because try wearing a suit and a tie in 50 degrees of heat, and you know what torture is. It's sheer torture. So I think the biggest challenge was that because you don't have enough time to build that credibility. So therefore it was what sort of a learning, what sort of a confidence. And when I say confidence, it is not arrogance. It is sheer, can you in a specified time period create that credibility where that person forgets that you may be half his age. I think that is what was the biggest challenge, and I think that was again one of the biggest learnings this Ferguson's gave you, of how to prepare yourself to build that credibility with people who were much senior, much experienced, but at the same time they were willing to listen to you. See, for me, for any professional to be successful, for me it is humility and the hunger for learning. The day a professional compromises on these two fronts, then you could have the biggest designation, you could have the biggest wealth in your bank, but if you, because which I have always tell people who take up profession, is that the only asset that we professionals have is our reputation, and it takes a lot of effort and time to earn that reputation. So you need to be sure that you are highly professional, you are humble. Humble means that your humility, how to deal with people, whether they are new entrants, junior, seniors, your peer, across nationalities, and to be very honest, and the ability to sort of say, look, I cannot do this job, therefore maybe I'm not the best person on this assignment, and which is something that when I personally preach in our firm today also is that you learn the processes and systems of how things work. But one thing we will not want to compromise is on the value system and about humility and how to deal with people. You respect people because they are your colleagues, not because they are your seniors or they are people who may have an influence on your career. Then it is very, very, it is really a lot more commercial or more transaction. So I think that to me is the value system which I strongly believe and I strongly follow. I think we had the right mix of fun and hard work. The right mix. So, we've put in 24 hours, 48 hours without a break. But at the same time, we enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed working with each other. We enjoyed, I used to travel almost 20 plus days a month and to remote places. But I never used to feel tired because I had the company of my colleagues. We were working on very good assignments. And I would relive that. At that point in time, I'm sure if you were to ask many people, they would curse. You were working on very tight budgets, tight deadlines, remote places. These were no fancy. You were not going by aircraft. You were either train or car or buses. You didn't have fancy allowances. You were staying in some guest houses, sharing rooms with a couple of people. But I would redo that, because that made me sort of realize the value, what of experience. I built some great relationships, which are still very active. I learned a lot about our country because I visited various. So I would do that again. I won't change a thing of what in fact, when we meet together as a group, within and I'm not fibbing, within 30 seconds, we are discussing those good old times. Within 30 seconds. It is boring for our spouses because they can't relate to that. But those are the happy moments, which have actually led us, all of us, to apply them in our daily life. The same as I said, humility and people. It is the EQ which is important. If you look around people who've been successful, they're not people who've been very intellectually. It's not that they were toppers or they were academically. It is how do you handle people? Are you someone who's seen as an inspirational leader? Are you someone who values culture, walks the talk? You pick up any successful leader. If they do not score high on their people aspects and on relationship, and at the same time, as I said, humility, the chances are that they won't have risen up. You pick up any leader. And in today's environment, and going forward, I think EQ is very, very critical. That's the way we look at it.